We first meet a young woman named Bora, who just finished her hours at a local radio broadcasting station. As she prepares to depart, she gets a phone call from her father, who informs her that a mysterious package has come for her. The contents? A flyer for an art show, blurting out trapeze vaulting rod. As soon as she reads this, the name of the sender clicks into place for Bora, and the floodgates open, drowning her in memories of her teen years. Flashback to 1999. A younger version of Bora is living a simple life in a quiet provincial town, far away from the bustle of Seoul, with her mom, dad, and younger brother, Nabata. Her parents operate a small video store out of their home, where they sell and rent film cassettes. Bora is just your typical high schooler, charmingly bright, rambunctious, and headstrong. She is also proud of her black belt in Taekwondo, and studied and got a few accolades in the martial art. Yeon-du, her childhood friend, is Bora's best friend. Yeon-du, a rich girl who has had a congenital heart disease since she was born. This leaves her with a frail body, but she knows she's supported and defended by her friend Bora. One day, Yeon-du tells them that she and her family will soon leave for the United States for heart transplant surgery. Before she leaves, she tells Bora about a boy she recently encountered at her mother's boutique. The first time she laid eyes on him, she says, she was smitten. Because of his school uniform, Yeon-du knew he went to the same school as them. She asks Bora to track him down and email her updates when she's abroad. Once Yeon-du leaves for the US, Bora begins her unofficial investigation. She quickly learns the boy's name is Hyun-jin. To her surprise, she crosses paths with him on the school bus and instantly recognizes him. Wanting to help Yeon-du, Bora dives to find details about Hyun-jin, his height, his go-to sports, even the drink he has when he goes to the gym. Hyun-jin is popular at school, especially with the girls, but as far as Bora can tell, he's not dating anybody. As she conducts her research, she discovers he's close friends with another student, Woon-ho, who shares her class. Hyun-jin, it turns out, is a new transfer student from New Zealand and recently joined the school's broadcasting club. After gathering enough information, Bora writes a detailed email to Yeon-du. Soon after, Hyun-jin hurts his leg while playing soccer. Witnessing this, Bora strikes. She pretends to be sick and follows him into the nurse's office. There, she crawls into the bed beside his, eavesdropping on a private conversation between Hyun-jin and Woon-ho. She is almost discovered when Woon-ho senses the presence of a hidden individual, but she manages to hide under the bed, just in the nick of time. It's during the chat that Hyun-jin reveals his dream of becoming an announcer for the school's broadcasting club. So, she auditions herself, hoping to get closer to him. She earns raves from everyone at the audition, full Taekwondo style, with Hyun-jin watching, all admiration. When it's his turn, Hyun-jin upsets the apple cart by offering up his spot for Bora, as she seems much more eager. Her plan doesn't quite go as she'd hoped, but Bora doesn't back down. An opportunity presents itself, and so she uses Woon-ho to get information. She calls Hyun-jin's pager number and impersonates a surveyor to learn more about him. The call is a good one. Hyun-jin, believing it's real, divulges everything: his favorite music, his favorite movies. But then Bora discovers she has actually dialed Woon-ho by mistake. He realizes it was her on the line, and she hangs up in fright. The following day, when she bumps into Woon-ho, she acts as if nothing happened. But Woon-ho isn't fooled. He ribbicks her but agrees to lend a hand, though not for free. He asks to borrow a specific film cassette from his family store. The tape, however, is adult content, and when their teacher discovers it while checking their bags, Bora gets in trouble. Upset, Bora vows to have her revenge on Woon-ho. However, her grudge quickly disappears when Woon-ho takes Hyun-jin to her family store under the pretense of a promotional offer. Hyun-jin leaves his pager number to claim the offer, and Bora's ecstatic. She sends the number over to Yeon-du, who's thrilled to hear the voice of her crush. Soon Bora finds herself with more and more time, with only Woon-ho. Through their work together in the broadcasting club, she still follows Hyun-jin, but gradually she starts to realize something else. Her own feelings for Woon-ho are getting stronger. One night, Bora sees Hyun-jin fighting some students from another school. She springs into action without a second thought as she deploys her martial arts moves to save him. Yeon-du's going to be upset if something happens to him. She's concerned. What she doesn't realize is that her would-be kindness makes Hyun-jin fall for her instead. When Hyun-jin eventually confesses his feelings and tries to get close to her, Bora panics. She tries to push him away by telling him she's not a good person, but nothing seems to shake him. Meanwhile, she's conflicted. She doesn't want to hurt Yeon-du, yet she's drawn more and more toward Woon-ho. During a school field trip, Bora and her classmates sneak alcohol into the dorms. When some boys steal drinks from her roommate, she storms off to confront them, but in her drunken state, ends up at the wrong room, Woon-ho's. Realizing a dorm check is about to happen, he quickly pulls her into a storage room to hide. In that moment, slightly intoxicated, Bora blurts out her feelings. Woon-ho starts to understand that she genuinely likes him too. The next day, all the students involved in the drinking incident are punished by being made to clean up trash on the beach. During the cleanup, Woon-ho offers Bora a bottle of honey water to help with her hangover, a small gesture that touches her deeply. She starts observing him quietly, and Hyun-jin notices. It dawns on him that Bora and Woon-ho have feelings for each other, and he gracefully backs off. As time passes, Bora and Woon-ho begin to show their affection more openly. Woon-ho even takes a part-time job at an ice cream shop directly across from Bora's video store. Bora often comes up with excuses, like playing badminton with her little brother, just to see him pass by. One night, Woon-ho takes Bora to his old home and shares stories of his childhood, especially about his little brother, Joseph, who still lives in New Zealand with their mother. After his parents divorced, Woon-ho moved back to Korea with his father. He talks about his dreams and future plans, and Bora begins to admire how clear he is about what he wants. When she admits she still feels uncertain about her path, Woon-ho encourages her to pursue a career as a radio announcer, saying her voice is perfect for it. Before heading home, Bora invites him to watch a movie together over the weekend. Woon-ho agrees and softly kisses her, an unspoken promise that their feelings are mutual. Bora shares her newfound emotions over email with her best friend Yeon-du. In her message, she admits for the first time that she has fallen in love, and suddenly, she knows why Yeon-du always wanted to know everything about the boy she liked. Bora's text is earnest and daffy, conveying the sweet whirlwind and particular fervor of young love. A few days later, Yeon-du has returned to some South Korean soil after a successful heart transplant surgery. With tears in her eyes, Yeon-du finally sees Bora, the friend she had so wanted to meet, and holds her tightly because she was really disappointed she never got to see her again. But the moment of joy takes an awkward turn when Bora realizes something shocking. The boy Yeon-du likes is none other than Woon-ho, the very same boy Bora herself has been crushing on. As it turns out, when Yeon-du first encountered Woon-ho at a clothing store, he was wearing Hyun-jin's school uniform. Woon-ho had just returned from New Zealand at the time and didn't yet have his own uniform, so he had to borrow Hyun-jin's. Yeon-du had no clue about any of this, mistaking that he was someone else, and fell in love with him without even knowing who he was. Confronted with this unexpected triangle, Bora struggles. She isn't sure whether to confess her own feelings for Woon-ho to Yeon-du or suppress them to protect their friendship. But when Bora sees the stitches on Yeon-du's chest, a remnant from her recent surgery, she makes a wrenching choice. Unwilling to add to Yeon-du's stress, she decides to take a back seat and sacrifice her own feelings. That night, with the password already in her possession, Bora logs into Yeon-du's email account and erases the love confession she sent earlier. She silently releases her feelings, telling herself that protecting her best friend's happiness is more important than pursuing her own. Later that week, Bora sends Yeon-du Han Dagam in her place on a movie date with Woon-ho, stepping back even more while her heart aches. Shortly thereafter, Woon-ho gets a call from his mother asking him to come back to New Zealand for treatment. And before he leaves, he's going to confess his love for Bora in a letter that is forged from the heart. Bora consents his intentions when they meet late at night, so that he can hand her the letter. And so she lies and says that she has no romantic feelings for him. She makes me swear and apologize, and she walks away completely shattered. His heart shattered, Woon-ho throws away the letter he'd written, a letter in which he'd laid out every single reason he'd cherished Bora since the moment he met her. That memories flashes back to the day he met her at her family's record store. When their paths kept crossing at school, he began noticing her more. At first, Woon-ho assumed that Bora liked Hyun-jin and would only hang out with him in the hope of discovering more about his friend. But in an emotional scene in the school warehouse, Bora revealed her feelings, and Woon-ho understood that it wasn't about Hyun-jin, it was about her liking him. So, when Bora later said she didn't have any feelings for him, Woon-ho was confused and hurt. Nevertheless, they wound up as members of the school's broadcasting club and worked together. They were assigned to make a welcome video for a school event, but didn't have appropriate video editing equipment. As long as they don't act like idiots, when Yeon-du first heard about the problem, she offered to take them to an acquaintance who worked at a television station in Seoul to get some help. Join Bora and Woon-ho as they travel down to Seoul, complete the video project. Then another day when they take Yeon-du and Hyun-jin to an amusement park. At the time of the trip, Yeon-du noticed that Woon-ho was unable to keep his eyes off of Bora. After Hyun-jin informed her that the two had feelings for each other. However, all she could feel was a surge of sadness over a note of guilt, that Bora had been suffering silently for her all along. Later, on a roller coaster ride, Woon-ho bluntly tells Bora how he feels again, in an attempt to be honest one last time before he heads back to New Zealand. The next day, he tells her he's about to leave, although he doesn't mention it's for medical treatment of a severe illness. Bora falls apart, but tries not to show it. And that night, Yeon-du confronts Bora, annoyed that she didn't tell her the truth about her love for Woon-ho from the get-go. Yeon-du, heart still broken, tells her she doesn't want Bora to keep giving up her happiness for her sake. On checking her email later, Yeon-du discovers the deleted message Bora had intended to send, the one that confesses her love for Woon-ho, and understands the depth of her friend's sacrifice. Eager to set the record straight, the day before his flight, she tells Woon-ho the truth, that Bora has always loved him, but lied because she didn't want to lose their friendship. Woon-ho, reeling from the news, make a desperate run to Bora's house to find her, only to discover that she wasn't home. Her family had been called to the hospital to see her younger sister Nabata after an accident. The only reason Bora arrives at the airport in time, thankfully, is because of Yeon-du and Hyun-jin. She runs through the terminal and finally catches Woon-ho just as he's about to leave. With tears, she apologizes for lying and reveals the truth about her feelings to him. Woon-ho gives her a hug and tells her he will come back. He asks her to wait for him. Time passes. The video made by the broadcasting club becomes a hit during the school festival. Hyun-jin starts to notice Yeon-du and Bora and Woon-ho email each other all the way from their long-distance relationship. Eventually, Bora attends university alongside Yeon-du in 2000. But as time passes, her contact with Woon-ho dwindles. He goes quiet 1 year into college. Unable to bear the silence, Bora ultimately stops writing, believing that he's already moved on with someone in New Zealand. Years pass. Bora ends up working as a radio announcer, a career that Woon-ho encouraged her to pursue once. She still thinks of him, but she tries to move on. One day then, a package arrives with an invitation to an art exhibition. Now, intrigued, she agrees to attend. At the exhibition, Bora discovers that it was organized by Woon-ho's younger brother, Joseph. As she wanders around, she gradually comes to understand that the exhibition is a tribute to Woon-ho, who died in 2001. Joseph says it all, right down to how he discovered an ancient cassette Woon-ho had checked out. Woon-ho had erased the original contents and replaced them with a recording of himself he made in South Korea. Secret recordings that revealed moments with Bora, even more full of affection, praise, and admiration. After learning about the girl his brother loved so much, Joseph mailed the tape to Bora's family store. He admits that he once held negative feelings toward Bora because he believed she was the reason that Woon-ho came back to Korea. But after viewing the recording, he understood how much happiness Bora had given his brother in his final days. She laughs and cries and smiles through tears. In the short clip, Woon-ho persuades Joseph to tell Bora to greet the new year. He closes with a pledge to be back soon, a pledge fate forbade him to keep. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe and comment.